Uh-oh. Come on. Having a little trouble. Well, here we go. Oh, we are live. All right. Good morning. Good morning. We are doing a take two today. We had a sound problem, didn't we? Didn't we, Lana?
Good. I
We
think it's
did.
better now.
We're better now. I want people to hear you, so we're doing this again. It's Tom Grody. It's a little past 7:07, but we're doing take two this morning because it's a beautiful story, and I want everyone to hear every word from Lana Moore. Lana is a retired fire captain from the Columbus Division of Fire. She has two beautiful children. She is a board member with GLAD, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, which does tremendous work nationally. She's worked with the Franklin County Catch Court Program, which is an amazing program for human trafficking. And she's an all-around wonderful person. And I'm so happy that you're with us this morning. And you're going to share your values and superpower with us, right?
Right.
All right. All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's do that. I'm going to bring your graphic up on the screen, and I am going to go off and go ahead and let you share your values and superpower.
All right. Well, thank you, Tom. It's such an honor to be included in this and for the opportunity to share some of my core values. Number one is safety. As a parent, one of the things that I knew and learned is that children need to know two things. They need to know that they're safe, and they need to know that they're loved. And I feel like we all need that. Every human being needs to feel safety and love. And as a person who dedicated my life to public safety, I had to put safety as number one. And always, as a coach, when I coached the kids soccer, it was always safety first. The next thing on my list is integrity. And I think a lot of people, when we say integrity, we think of someone who makes good decisions and does the right thing. And that's certainly true. But I also think of it as like keeping ourselves whole and maintaining our integrity. Is like a bucket, a pail, a bucket. If it has a hole in it, its integrity has been breached. And if the hole is small, it will still hold water, but it will leak. And the bigger that hole gets, the worse it's able to function. And so I always try to maintain my integrity and to keep myself whole and healthy, both physically and mentally and emotionally. And that also entails being consistent, doing the right thing and doing what you say you will do, and being on time. And if you're late, letting the people know that you're going to be late, and just little things like that. But I think integrity is very important. The next thing is service. And again, as a person who was privileged and blessed to have a job in public service, I felt just how great is it that I had a job where I got paid to go help people. And not only did I get a paycheck, but I got rewards to my soul. Often described my job as being in the business, the worst day of your life business. So being a firefighter is, seeing people sometimes and meeting them on the worst day of their life, be it a medical emergency where someone in their life was dying or injured critically or very severely, or their house was on fire and they were losing everything they had. So that, rewarded me in ways that money could never reward someone. So it is, again, I felt very blessed to have such a career. And then The next thing is grace. And I just feel like grace is a very important thing that we all need to think about these days in these very difficult times that we're all living. You know, we receive God's grace, but how do we share that grace with others? And how do we show ourselves grace? Because, you know, I listed these core values, but I don't always live up to them. I try. And sometimes I have to show myself grace and be forgiving. You know, they often say that forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself. So while it's important to hold each other accountable, I think it's also important that we do so with kindness and with grace. Um, you know, like in social media, one of the tenets I try to live up to, and I'm not always successful, but I try to keep in mind praise in public and criticize in private. So, in other words, when somebody is acting in a way that I don't approve or don't think is them being their best, maybe it's better to send them a private message and be graceful and use it as a teaching moment rather than publicly shaming and scolding them. And, you know, I don't always succeed because we all have our moments. We act out in real time, and sometimes we don't, we're not being our best. And, you know, we have to be able to forgive ourselves and have grace. And it's a difficult time because, you know, hurting people hurt people, and everybody's hurting these days. So I just think grace is something that I try to maintain and try to hold as a core value. And I think that not only helps me, but it helps the other people in my life who I affect. And then my superpower is creativity. And so I have included, and Tom put in the slide, a few of my drawings. One is a caricature of myself that I used in fundraising efforts for GLAD. And the other is a drawing that I did with the Division of Fire. It was on the annual awards banquet booklet for several years. And I also did cartoons for the fire department news. And I did cartoons for my high school newspaper at Independence High School. So I always just try to bring, I think we all bring what we bring. And that which what we bring is very valuable and unique to ourselves. And when I joined the board of GLAD, I was I was in awe when I joined my first board meeting, and there were these captains of industry and legal eagles and famous people and people in the entertainment industry. And I thought, how does a fire captain from Columbus, Ohio fit in with all these giants, you know? But what I learned was exactly what I just said, that we all bring what we bring. And diversity of perspective is so important. And so I brought not, you know, diversity as a trans person, but someone from the Midwest, because a lot of the board members were East Coast, West Coast. And, you know, I was able to be creative and meet the very steep fundraising challenges by bringing my own personality and my own creativity to the table. So.
Beautiful. Thank you very, very, very much. Oh my gosh. Beautiful values, wonderful values, great superpower. You definitely bring what you bring. I have been so lucky to get to sit around a lot of tables with you, Lana, and you've always just held grace. I think of grace when I think of you, and the way that you, I think you've taught many of us so much about who you are and about who we are. But you've made such a huge difference. Your story is so powerful. You've been visible. You've been a leader. And we're just so lucky. We're lucky you're in our community. We're lucky that you're leading. Um, Thank you so much for sharing today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. And I can say the very same about you. You are so adorable, as is your husband and your children, and you are an inspiration for me as well, and your family and your visibility and your sister and your father, and just you've been such an inspiration to me as well. And I want to thank you and acknowledge that.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Lana. Thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you for doing this twice. So glad we did, because your words are so beautiful, and I'm just so glad you hung in there with me to do this again. So thank you. And I do want you to remember one thing, though. Even when it's really damn cloudy out, the sun is always shining, right?
That's correct.
All right.
Shines from within us.
Yes,
It's on us.
absolutely. All right. Well, thanks a lot. You have a wonderful day today. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.